So just a quick PSA before we begin. The following episode had a lot of Discord server issues, so unfortunately all our audio was not recorded and captured. However, I've pieced together most of it, so we hope you still enjoy.
You mall rats think you're pretty clever, don't you? This new money scam thing is just another way to keep the rest of us down. Yeah! Isn't that right, Ebony?
Maz, do you remember when we used to use tokens as payment? Well, it worked. There has to be a standard price for everything that we trade. And once that's agreed on, well, this coin will be worth the same in your pocket as it is in mine. It'll bring the tribes together.
Welcome to Series 3, Episode 45 of Conversations on Eagle Mountain, a podcast about the tribe. I'm your host Lance, and joining the podcast panel today is Liz.
Oh.
Sabine.
Hi.
And Maggie.
Hi.
With episode notes done by Matt and myself. So Series 3, Episode 45. The screenplay was done by David Fox. It was directed by Danny Moharan, and the episode synopsis read out by myself. The new currency hits the streets, but not everyone is convinced of its value. Ebony proposes a bold plan for the future of the city, and Andy's warnings about the Guardian continue to be ignored. Before we get to the issue of money, let's start with some head scratchers that I thought. First up, despite the kind of utter joyness that we saw Casey experience, we kind of get a complete 180 flip on this. We now see Casey completely upset that she took the horse without his permission.
You know, you're wasting your time. Celine's not gonna be back, at least not for a while anyway.
I like that horse. She had no right to take it.
She just borrowed it. Don't be mad. Celine's got a few problems.
I don't understand. Her riding off like that. She's not gonna find Ryan. He could be anywhere.
So yeah, I mean, my question to you, panel, is like, are the writers talking to each other? Because it does feel like this suddenly came out of nowhere after the last episode we just saw. It was so happy for Celine.
I don't know. Maybe they felt like he was happy she was riding the horse, and but once it's sunk in that, oh, she literally took my horse without even asking me, and I have no idea she's returning, just another person who doesn't give a crap about my feelings because everybody seems to think I don't have feelings. I don't know. Maybe it just sunk in like, wow, she literally just took it. I mean, I'm happy for her and stuff. Like, I'm glad she's feeling better, but dude, she didn't even bring it up. She didn't even ask me if she could. She just took my possession. Because what does Casey care? Casey doesn't have feelings. And he's been getting a lot of that from people talking to him as though he doesn't know what feelings are, or that he doesn't have anything deeper going on. And he's at a point where he's starting to actually have deeper feelings for somebody who barely seems to notice he exists. I guess I get why he's, like, wow, this kind of sucks. She didn't even check with me. I probably would have said yes if she'd asked. I think it's more just, I think it's just more the context of her taking the horse. Like, she didn't even consider checking with him. He would have said yes to her if she had said, Casey, I'd like to take the horse to find Ryan, but it would have shown some consideration for him as a person. Yeah. And maybe it's just that moment where it's hitting you that nobody ever really considers me as a person or my feelings.
No, he looked so happy once he managed to ride Apollo. No, he seemed truly happy to have lost basically that, and then to have her just ride off without even a word. It's just, I feel bad for him. Had he said, look, Bray has a clue on where Ryan is, I'm going to try and convince him to come back, he's been thrilled. See an opportunity to possibly get Ryan back to them. Yeah, with the way she's behaving now, it's, I mean, I get her. Like, she has this opportunity, and she's going for it, but the lack of consideration for Casey is just mean.
There's always a lack of... It's never, it's nothing is ever going to get any better. They always look down on him and still being a child. And I do think it was, he was excited that he actually did it. And then off into the sunset she went. That probably didn't feel good.
I mean, remember, May did explain to him what had happened. I just don't know. I just don't feel it was telegraphed pretty good here. I know it just feels a bit sudden.
I'm not saying they did it well. Just, that's the only thing I can think of that's likely going on.
No, that's fair.
Because it's probably more likely that none of these writers are talking to each other.
Yep.
And working on with each other of how to progress a character's mental state. That's probably more likely.
Yeah, because it would have made more sense if he had felt like this before May spoke to him.
Yes.
And maybe it's just another, like, well, why didn't she tell me? Why does nobody ever tell me anything? Why can't I know anything? Like, it was about Ryan. It was about Amal Ray.
Yeah, but also, technically, Apollo was his. They're taking something that was his and going off it. That's gotta hurt.
Oh, that's very fair. So, that leads us to the second head-scratcher of the episode. So meanwhile, while this is all going on, Ned leaves them all in order to feed the prisoners. And he outwardly reveals himself to both Amber and Trudy. So, I mean, panel, I'm really confused here. Like, what was the game plan here? Like, they know who he is, who kidnapped them. What did Ned think was going to happen after all was said and done?
I don't understand how his plan was ever supposed to work out. He showed his face to them. You know what I mean? Like, how are you ever going to get away with this?
How?
Without offing the girls? Like, what the hell?
The only thing I can come up with is that when Ned took the girls, simply did not think he would still be with Alice at this point. That's the only way I can reason this into something semi-acceptable.
And maybe he wasn't counting on the Alice connection when this started, and he was just going to write off.
Yeah, I think he just figured, okay, gonna get rich from that, and then, sail to sunset.
The only way this is gonna work is if he left immediately after. Like either left a note for them saying the girls are being held here or something, and he's long gone.
Yeah. No, that's the only thing I can come up with.
It's Ned.
He was planning to leave as soon as the Guardian was handed over, and that him being Ned, think about what would happen if those girls would talk.
I just can't buy it that even Ned is that stupid.
And buy that whoever wrote the storyline is that stupid. We can see for sure the girls not only have changed positions, but now they're on like a pallet, with blankets. So they aren't handcuffed to anything in this room.
Which is odd because, I give these two more credit than that.
Use your teeth.
Like literally, they start working each other's ropes.
Mm-hmm.
Might take you a couple days. Just do it. You'd be untied by now.
You've been left for a day alone. A whole day.
Just by moving those ropes, they could have, at least gotten halfway.
They've been in there for days. They should be untied by now.
Mm-hmm.
They should have untied themselves by now. Maybe they're faking because they heard him coming and they want him to think they're still tied up. Maybe.
Yeah, I just would have liked to have seen some effort on their part. Something. Having escaped from the ropes and trying to figure out how to catch him when he comes in. I mean, something, but you just get nothing. They're just chilling, just sitting, waiting.
No, but this is just Trudy wanting to know if Bray's gonna save the damsel in distress this time because Amber's with her. That's why she's not doing anything. She wants to know if the guy's ever coming.
So let's move on to the big ticket item, which is the new currency system.
So what now? I mean, do we just go around handing them out like candy?
Well, people trade for them, or work for them, just like anything else. Then they go and trade with each other until eventually all the coins end up in everybody's pockets.
Where are you going to put them in the meantime?
There's a big safe in the mall. Right, Bray?
And who gets the combination to this safe? All of us?
I've thought about it. It's best if just one person has it. I suggest Luke.
So my thoughts on the on leaving Ebony in charge of everything and on the money system itself. But yeah, what did you make of the introduction here? And obviously, Luke being allowed to have the combination to the safe.
My question is, did anybody question the fact that there's an M on this money? That would have been the first start, not brand it.
Yes.
It has an M on it because it was the most clever thing the writers could come up with. And then maybe someone noticed that also could stand for Mallrats. It really does seem like it's, mall rat propaganda.
Yeah, it's very self-serving. Could have just named it something with an M and said that's what, but no. Money, money, money.
May I just say that one of the things that annoys me most with these magical M's is that they're huge.
Oh yeah, they're huge
They
tokens.
are pretty giant.
If you have several, what do you need? Backpack to hold them with?
You're less likely to misplace them.
Yeah, but where are you going to put them if you're wearing an outfit like Ebony's?
Don't ask.
Oh, it's smaller than a loaf of bread. Okay, let's see. I actually don't have a problem with this whole currency situation, because they ought to have concerns because they've been here before where they have tried to create a system of, exchange and stuff like that. And now it would show that our characters still remember the experiences they've apparently had in their life. She makes a good argument that who better to guard the money than someone who can't spend it. And none of these people are smart enough to think, can't spend money, but whatever, they're stupid. Yeah. That mollifies them. Like, oh yeah, okay. Right? She knows who she's dealing with, you know what I mean? They're all fighting over the last brain cell in this mall, so.
He was the lieutenant.
I know.
Yeah, no, it's insane.
It's insane. It's been, what, a week? 2?
Listen, okay, they have short-term memory problems. They've learned nothing.
Tai-San sums it up great in a scene later she has with Andy. She's like, whatever happened with the Chosen is in the past. we forgot what happened last week. Any imprint on any of us.
Because we just moved on.
Yep, they're just goldfish.
I did hate that line when I heard it. I was like, oh, Tai-San.
I'm like, this is just the way they see everything. This is everybody. It all happened a month ago. It hasn't even been a month since the Chosen were defeated, but that's fine. Oh. It's fine, okay? There's no way that somebody who's done something terrible will do it 2 weeks later. Come on. I do think it's funny, though. Now, again, Ebony is fine. Even the fact that she's saying it out loud, that, like, on one hand, she's like, he's one of us, right? It's like a really nice way of her reminding Luke of his situation. Mm-hmm. Like, you're stuck with us, and in future, you better be grateful to me because you don't have any choices.
Yeah, no, she's so on point and in character. It is amazing. This is the Ebony that everybody loves to hate, but also love at the same time.
Yeah, she is great.
But yeah, I mean, I would have liked if it hadn't been completely spelled out, the evils of money. But the show is now only aiming at 5-year-olds. I guess I'd have to spell it out in that simplistic way. So that's the only thing that bugged me about it, really, is that do none of you remember that you've discussed these sort of things before, that you have been in these positions of power where you were the richest? Come on.
Let's not compute.
Ellie's conversation with Luke, one more clue of that Luke really doesn't like a free-thinking Ellie. It's a very valid but fair criticism of this new system, And notice how nasty, because his idea was critique. He treated it as though it was an attack on his person. Like, just listen to how he says it. How you gonna pay for your paper, Ellie? Yeah, and he's so condescending.
How dare she?
Right. It was like, and it's just all because she offered a criticism. Yeah. She wasn't nasty about it. I was like, oh, wow. He really didn't like having an idea criticized. It was like just the passive aggression, and it was so unnecessary when he could have said the same things to her and not in that nasty way. She had a valid concern about this new system. How dare you? This is going to be perfect and it's necessary. And it even sounded a little creepy. The way it was a little megalomaniac, the way he was talking about somebody needing to be in charge and having no problem with there being a system where somebody's in charge. And
I mean, and that just goes to show you how very easy it was for, for Luke to follow the Guardian too. Like, this is who he is as a person.
Yep. Like, no wonder he was convinced when he was younger to be a street thug with Zoot.
It's relevant, yeah.
Somebody's got to be in charge. Mm-hmm. I mean, somebody's got to be in charge of these things, and this is just the way it works. And he still ended up ending lives this time. Like, it was like, wow, Luke, you are destined to fall down this path.
I do feel really sorry for Ellie here. Like, Even Ned, like, will go out, give Alice presents, take her for a picnic. What has Luke done?
I'm telling you, he's brought nothing to the table. Once he won her, once he got her, once she chose him, he has been nothing but a pain in the ass.
Just sits there moaning, complaining.
He does nothing.
Criticizes her. Does nothing for her. Like, wow.
I'm not looking for a fight. I know I acted like an idiot before, and I want to apologize. I've never been any good at this stuff. Okay, look, I care about you. But I know you're only here because of Amber, and there's no way I could ever, I mean, not that you'd want to, I mean...
Yeah, panel, what did you make of May apologizing to Pride and just obviously relating to him that she knows he's only here for Amber, but she still cares about him anyway? And then Pride pretty much just saying nothing.
Thought, like, wait a minute, you just admitted to her that you want somebody else. She's already admitted to you that she wants you. Signing up for a bruising knowingly because you think the other person is hot. That's it.
They both gotta know.
And then in this moment, you know, Pride saying, yeah, no, with Amber, it was just in my head.
What? They did, you know, and I thought that too. I'm like, there they go, trying to write it out.
This at least is open up to interpretation because, for example,
that's true.
You'll see, for example, Trudy and Jay have a relationship in the future, right? She describes it as it was basically all me. It was on my head. Even though we knew there'd actually been a relationship.
Yeah.
Could be interpreted as, yeah, we were in a relationship, but I was the only one actually in it. You know what I mean?
I kind of thought that
she was never there. You know, she always wanted Bray, regardless of what was going on between them. It was only him.
Yeah. Well, I did see, you know, that he said that he thought that, you know, after everything was done, he could connect to the ego. So he kind of, it's so glossed over. They had a commitment ceremony where she gave him a ring.
Yep.
And in that conversation, it's not about confessing their feelings for each other.
Oh.
You know, or being on the same page. It's Pride admitting that she was never in it for me.
And then the two end up sleeping together.
It's very much up there with...
yeah, it was weird.
Celine and Ryan getting it on after her sexual assault. You know what I mean? Like, the timing just felt... This can't end up well, you guys.
May can't be this naive.
Oh, she's not. That's the thing.
She's already showed us she's not.
May knows, but like many people, she's going to go into a denial of hoping that she'll be able to change his mind. But I'm just like, so she didn't go into this blind. Like, oh, I thought he cared about me. It's like, bish, you know. Like, you know where his heart is and it ain't with you. His eyes are on your body. And maybe she thought, well, if I can get him here, maybe
this is one of the few times I feel bad.
This ain't gonna end pretty. You're signing up for this one, so I'm not really gonna feel that bad for you as it all comes crashing down. You should have known.
No,
that's mixed signals. You know what I mean? You know how she feels now. You can't even say you were innocent, and yet you're gonna give her this physical signal that you're into her. I kind of wonder if part of his attraction, I'd like a little hoe. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just get that sense that he wants a taste. Right, doing the good boy thing didn't work out for him, you know, which is very unkind to May.
He is something. Hey,
I think Maz is right.
I am?
About the Mallrats running things. It's not democratic.
You said it.
Then I suggest we hold an election. Every tribe is allowed one candidate, and every kid in the city can get one vote.
What are we voting for?
A leader.
For the whole city. What about the rest of the tribe?
We keep the tribes. Tribe leaders would get to sit on some kind of council, but they'd all have to answer to the leader, who would fix prices, run the city. The leader's word would be law.
Oh, yeah. You'd like that, Ebony. That would suit you just fine.
Who said anything about me? For the Mallrats? I nominate Bray.
So yeah, what do you make of Ebony's plan and the reactions to
it? Smart girl.
Masterful.
Plays the long game, man.
Agreed. I loved it. How they've been going about this, you know, with whatever tribe just happens to have the leg up, basically dictating to everybody else how they should live. It's not like the council actually had a say in anything the Mallrats had already decided to do, you know? And the Mallrats weren't chosen to be over everybody. And so Yeah, an elected leader that everybody in the city agrees on, like, be voted for. You know, like, that is the fairest way to get you here.
It's a great concept, horrible execution.
It's the logical step forward.
And obviously we have to give massive props to how Ebony's played all of this.
Suspicion that she's chasing power. She's been doing that over and over and over again. And so she's coming across as somebody who
reluctant,
you know, and has no thirst for it. Like when it came to the money, you know, even Bray was looking at her like he expected her to. And then she's like, oh, this guy, someone who can't even spend it, someone I hated. Because Bray even says, like, you wanted to kill him.
Guys.
Yeah, of course not. I'm just not that girl anymore, guys. You know, there's a bigger picture.
Me, I'm more like Amber now.
And it's working on Bray, you know. She's been playing the long game with him.
Yeah.
This is commitment. Well done, Ebony. I'm so impressed.
He's so good.
Wow. It's like she started thinking about it as soon as the Chosen was defeated. After all this, what will be my next move?
Right.
And how will I get there? You know, I can't deny it was awesome watching that.
Everything just fell into place, you know?
It was absolutely brilliant, but my only issue with this is obviously Ebony, you could barely run the Locos when you had it. You could barely like run the Murats when you were kind of in charge. Like, really? Does she really think she can run the entire city?
It's true.
Really, Ebony?
She's not gonna have to do the whole city, right? Like she's working behind the scenes to make sure they do her dirty work.
She's seen how hard it is to do in one tribe with her in charge. Like,
there was no controlling them.
No, even the Murats when she was like in charge, kind of by stealing the antidote formula. And
she like, watched how Danny did it, and she figured, if she can.
She only learns one sort of lesson each time she fails, but it's not always the right lesson she should have learned, and hyper fixates on that issue, and that's the only thing that needs to be fixed this time, you know, and doesn't pay attention to the other problem. But what happens as soon as she gets to the top, like, all of that control is lost. And it's like, you worked so hard to get here. You actually could be a decent leader if you weren't insistent on being corrupt when you actually would have been good at this.
Needs the power and the chaos.
Yeah, you know, she's her own worst enemy. Her and Maz orchestrate this whole conversation. I love that Maz is completely unrepentant for leaving Bray for dead.
Oh my gosh, that's like you. He was it was for Left 4 Dead. She left it. Oh my goodness.
He knows.
He was so drunk he doesn't remember.
It's fine.
He knows it was Maz.
They threw him down there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, and for a moment, I genuinely forgot that Maz and
completely forget that the two of them are actually secretly working together. It's just so well played.
And again, if you didn't know any better, you'd be looking at Ebony and be shocked that she shows no interest in being in charge. You know, it's no wonder Bray is like, holy crap. She's finally lived and sweet and not looking to screw anybody over. He didn't know that's what she was doing behind the scenes, but what he saw and then realized, no, she's just awful. And then she had to work a whole season.
She's just horrible.
She had to work a whole season to get his forgiveness. Wow, you actually remind me of the woman I'm in love with, you know, like, you've changed. And Bray finally says, you remind me of Amber, like, this is something she would do, this fighting for this. Like, inside she must be like,
but she's her own worst enemy, you know. Like,
ever since season 2, that has been the Mulrat priority, being the ones calling the shots. They don't ever want to lose that, ever.
There is no reason why Murats should be in charge at the moment. Absolutely none.
No, there isn't.
Nope.
But they got a taste for the power. They never want to lose it. They never want to give it up, and it will continue all the way until the show ends, keeping power. Even Amber will get on board with that way of thinking. We should be in charge.
And democracy and like working with each other, but it is pushed that again, Murats should be in charge. Murats should be in charge. We should lead. We should do this.
And anyone who opposes it is a bad guy, an antagonist.
And yet the Murats are the good guys.
That's what we're supposed to believe.
We keep being told this, but we just see them fight.
I know.
All right, let's move on. When Andy refuses to continue feeding the Guardian, Lex uses his sheriff's duties to get out of it with Tai-San.
Look, Andy, this is what they call a rite of passage. See, when you're a kid, everything's scary, even the shadows. But what you gotta do is face up to the fear. You do this, and you get through it, and you'll come out the other side a man.
Oh, okay, what if I don't?
I'll break both your arms.
Go on then. I don't care what you do to me. I'm not going back in that cage.
Although warned by Andy, she removes the Guardian's restraints and he prepares to attack her when her back is turned. However, the Guardian hesitates and in the end doesn't go through with it. So yeah, panel, what did you make of the Guardian's actions?
I love that. Like Lex is like, okay, I'm gonna try and, do what everybody else does when they talk to the kids. That was cute. You could even tell Lex was amused by that. It's like, okay, you win. I'm not actually gonna break your arms. And he did it with a huge smile on his face. Like, I don't care what you do to me. I'm not feeding him. Hilarious.
Hey.
I'm not gonna lie. They made such a big deal. We had to have one discussion after another because it was in every episode, them fighting over this guy. And now that he sees his wife is in the cage feeding this guy and brushing his hair, he doesn't care anymore. And it was like, really?
I know.
Do you mean all I had to do was get you to feed him?
But it's just that how they are.
And then you would have been over it? Now it doesn't matter. Now it really doesn't matter if she feeds him. Who cares? It's left for her, and now it's fine. I guess you two are ridiculous.
And what did you think of the Guardian trying to kill Tai-San?
I actually understood his need to kill her in that moment. I'm just saying, I'm putting myself in his shoes, playing at being out of it, and that's a lot of commitment.
They believe that he really is a little bit crazy.
Okay, and he has to listen to her insipid conversation. Not to mention, he was obsessed with her, remember? He married her.
Yeah.
He's like, I just want to kill her.
My wife!
How dare you!
Yeah, exactly. It was a silent marriage. The only witness was Zootens, as we know.
And then remembering, I just do like her. Because he tries to get her back.
She's cool people.
He does try to get her back.
Right? He had a moment.
Yeah. He had a moment. I love you so much, I could kill you right now. Was I worried for her, though? No. I wasn't actually worried about her.
Not at all.
I was like, ooh, finally.
She knows how to fight, too.
No, I didn't think she could defend herself. I
know.
I just thought, hey, doesn't believe he should have to be responsible for anything he was a part of.
Anything.
Come on.
Dude, he did this.
He's aiming for that neck.
Yeah, well, but then again, Tai-San forgave Ebony for...
I was thinking about that the other day. Forgetting that Ebony, tried to kill Tai-San and murdered a dog.
Forgiveness is a personal thing.
Yeah, that's true.
You can forgive someone all you like. That's awesome. You can't ask me to do the same. Because at that point, what you're doing is, what do they, trauma, my pain, by telling me I owe this person forgiveness. I need to move on.
Yeah.
Thanks. You're basically telling me what happened to me is not a big deal. Just because you're able to get over it.
That brings us to our final thoughts of the episode. Feeling frustrated at the increased suspicions of Alice, and being unable to sneak around undetected, Ned threatens to reveal all to the others if Ebony doesn't deliver by tomorrow.
Ebony!
God, not again. Look, why can't you just leave me alone?
You made me a promise.
Look, can you keep your voice down?
All that talk about wealth and power, that was all lies.
These things take time.
Yeah, well, I'm running out of time, Ebony. And so are you.
Is that a threat?
What do you think?
Why did you promise Alice all those things? What were you thinking of?
I was calling your bluff, lady. Now the ball's in your court. What are you gonna do?
Oh, I'm gonna go out and find your tractor and a plow. Oh, and what else was it you wanted? A flock of sheep?
Go ahead, laugh. I've played along with your little game, Ebony. I figured I had nothing to lose, but now I'm starting to look like a fool. And nobody makes a fool of me. I'll give you till tomorrow. You start delivering on your promises, or I'll tell the mall rats everything. You got that? Everything.
Yeah, go ahead, panel.
Oh, Ned.
How does Ned think that will play out?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering too.
Does he seriously think that he can just go to the others with Yeah, I know the girls are. I kidnapped them. Ebony made me do it. And if he would try to play it like that, nobody would feel sympathy for him.
Except for Alice.
Like, it wouldn't work out. Like, it was her idea, and he just acted it out. Like, of course, we also know he's a bumbling idiot. Does he not realize that no matter how he spins this, he's the bad guy? He's still the guy who kidnapped...
Yeah, who kidnapped Amber and Trudy.
Like, what reason is he going to give for why he agreed to do this with Ebony? Like, what is he going to say? That she was able to convince him? How is he going to explain being a part of it in...
Yeah, she threatened the twins.
Right, like, why didn't you go to anybody? You know what I mean? Like, no matter what he says.
It doesn't make any... None of this made any sense to begin with. So, I mean, it's just on par for
the idiot.
Yeah, like, this is really, really dumb. Ned, everything you're working towards trying to get, this whole conflict is because she's not giving you... You're going to throw all of that away if you come clean and just, as a way to try and threaten Ebony to give you what you want faster. The girls know your face. They know what you did to them. They can testify to what you've done to them. They can also testify that they've never seen Ebony. Ebony can spin a lie much better than you can, Ned. Ebony has a better chance of getting out of this than you do. Thinks that making this threat and going through with it would help him in any way. Hasn't thought it through. Like, how is this going to help you? Maybe you'll damage Ebony a little bit. How dumb can you be?
Scale of 1 to dumb? Yeah, it's Ned.
And I was like, what a dumb thing to do. Like, he can't really believe. Right, he would be afraid if she said, I'm telling everybody what you've done. That would freak him out. So he must think using that same threat against her would work. He doesn't know Ebony will get out of this. You just backed her into a corner.
Yeah, no, Ebony knows.
She's going to take a little singeing, but she's going to get out of this fine.
Yeah.
If he thinks this is just a threat, what happens if she calls your bluff?
He doesn't know Ebony to know, that he doesn't know that she will call.
It feels he assumes Ebony is just some little girl who he can manage.
He thought, I've got one over on Pride, and had to learn the hard way. Dude, with this guy, because he's offering, what he's offering is whispers in the wind. It's empty, all of it. Small-time scams. And he's playing with somebody who doesn't do small-time scams. I'm going to give her a deadline and threaten her, and she'll have to deliver something. She'll give me something. Something, Ned.
Mm-hmm. Something good.
You're going to end up with one heck of a headache. I wish they had done a better job with his character, so I would feel the dread of the tragedy that's about to happen.
Yeah.
Feeling bad for Alice.
And even that's really hard for me to come by.
Yeah.
Instead, I just want to be released from this. We're already there. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Finally.
Oh, and I want everyone to remember what Amber looks like in that room.
Really focus on it.
And I want us to think about how long they've been in that room. And maybe it's been 2 weeks tops. And that's a generous... Let's just round up.
Yeah.
Okay? It's been 2 weeks.
Okay, cool. That brings Series 3, Episode 45 to a close. Thank you very much to our panel, Liz, Sabine and Maggie. And if you'd like to take part in a future episode of the podcast, or to even send us a message, you can do so by contacting us on our Facebook page, on our website, on Instagram. Just search for thetribe.co.uk or Conversations on Eagle Mountain. So see you next time for episode 46. Until then, bye.
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 Bye.